The Rolls-Royce Phantom has always represented Rolls-Royce's clearly distanced top model since 1925, with the house using the Phantom designation for various model generations of this large and exclusive luxury car in the 20th century. The top model developed and built from 2003 onwards under the direction of BMW also again bears the Phantom designation. The car became famous, among other things, as the vehicle of the villain Auric Goldfinger in the 1964 James Bond film of the same name. In the same year, also in Great Britain, the episodic feature film Der gelbe Rolls-Royce, The Yellow Rolls-Royce, was made, directed by Anthony Asquith, in which a yellow Phantom II takes center stage. Romanian entrepreneur Ion Tiriac is the only person in the world who owns all Phantom series. The Rolls-Royce 40/50 HP Phantom I, also known as the new Phantom, was introduced by the British automaker Rolls-Royce in 1925 as the successor to the Silver Ghost model. Like its Silver Ghost predecessor, the Phantom I was built in both the UK and the US, with the US model introduced a year later and produced 2 years longer. A major improvement over the Silver Ghost was the new inline 6-cylinder engine with overhead valves. The cylinders, bore times stroke equals 107.9 mm times 139.7 mm, bolted to the crankcase were cast together in pairs and had removable cylinder heads. The long-stroke engine had a displacement of 7,668 cc and, with 95 horsepower, 70 kilowatts, at 2,750 revolutions per minute, was powerful enough to move the heavy car adequately. The car reached a top speed of 145 km per hour. From 1928, the cylinder heads were made of aluminum instead of cast iron. The engine and transmission were connected by a single-plate dry clutch. The British version was equipped with a 4-speed gearbox, while the US models had only 3 gears. Power was transmitted to the rear axle via a universal joint and a shaft running in a tube. The front axle was suspended on semi-elliptic leaf springs, the rear axle on cantilever springs. Servo-assisted drum brakes were fitted to all 4 wheels except on early US-built cars, which were supplied without front brakes. US and UK versions differed in wheelbase. Both were available at 3,645 mm, but on the UK version the long wheelbase was 3,823 mm, while only 3,721 mm was realised on the US model. The British versions were built at the Rolls-Royce factory in Derby, the US versions were built in Springfield, Massachusetts. Only the chassis and mechanics were manufactured by Rolls-Royce. The bodies were built by a wheelwright at the customer's request. Some of the best-known coach builders for Rolls-Royce cars were Parkward, Thrupp and Maberly, Mulliner and Hooper. Most Phantom as in the US version were coach-built at Brewster & Company in New York. In the UK, exactly 2,269 examples were produced by 1929. In the US, 1,243 were made between 1926 and 1931, succeeded by the Phantom II. The Rolls-Royce Phantom II was a luxury car built by the British automaker Rolls-Royce in the United Kingdom from 1929 to 1935 as the successor to the Phantom I. Production of the Phantom I in the USA continued until 1931. The inline 6-cylinder engine with overhead valves and 7,668 cc displacement was taken over by Rolls-Royce from its predecessor, but the power unit was increased to 120 bhp, 89 kilowatts, at 3,500 revolutions per minute. The Rolls-Royce Phantom II was the last of the large 6-cylinder cars whose development from the first design sketch to completion was entirely under the control of F. Henry Royce himself. Engine power was transmitted to the rear wheels via a hand-shifted, unsynchronized 4-speed gearbox. From 1932, third and fourth gears were synchronized, and from 1935, second gear was added. The rigid front axle on semi-elliptic leaf springs was also from the Phantom I. At the rear there was now a rigid axle also on semi-elliptic leaf springs instead of cantilever springs. All 4 wheels were equipped with drum brakes, which were servo-assisted. For sporty drivers there was a version with wheelbase shortened to 3,657.6 mm. As a rule, lightweight bodies were used to save weight. An original detail to increase performance was a flap in the exhaust that the driver could operate through an opening in the footwell. The use of this system was prohibited in the United Kingdom. A Continental version was available from Rolls-Royce exclusively for the Phantom II. The designation refers to the intended sales area of continental Europe. Bentley, which had been part of Rolls-Royce since 1931, resumed this designation after the Second World War by offering sporty versions of the R-Type as well as the S-Series from 1952 to 1965 as R-Type Continental, S1 Continental, S2 Continental and S3 Continental. Only the chassis and mechanicals were manufactured by Rolls-Royce. The bodies were built to customer specification by various coach builders. Some of the best-known coach builders for Rolls-Royce cars were Park Ward, Thrupp and Maberly, Mulliner and Hooper, but smaller firms such as Cunard also dressed individual chassis. A total of 1681 chassis were built at the Derby factory. Of these, 281 were Phantom II Continental. 125 of these were left-hand drive. Its successor was the Phantom III from 1935. In the movie Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, a Rolls-Royce Phantom II was the payment demanded by the Sultan of Hatay for assisting the Nazis in their search for the Holy Grail. Regarding the performance specifications, the Sultan said, Rolls-Royce Phantom II. 4.3-liter, 30 horsepower, 6-cylinder engine, with Stromberg downdraft carburetor, can go from 0 to 100 km an hour in 12.5 seconds. These are incorrect with regard to engine power and displacement. Furthermore, the vehicle shown in the film was not a Rolls-Royce Phantom II but a 1935 Rolls-Royce 20/25 of a horsepower Barker saloon. The Rolls-Royce Phantom III was the last major Rolls-Royce before the Second World War. Introduced in 1936 to replace the Phantom II, it was the only Rolls-Royce with a V12 engine until the introduction of the Silver Seraph in 1998. By 1939, 727 Phantom III chassis had been built, many of which still exist. The Phantom II's V12 engine has a displacement of 7,341 cc. Bore time stroke equals 82.55 mm² times 114.3 mm, and an aluminum engine block. The overhead valves are controlled by a single camshaft located below between the cylinder banks. Early versions had hydraulic valve lash adjustment via a system of eccentric discs on the rocker arms, moved by a hydraulic piston, which ensured that there was no clearance between the rocker arm and the valve. In 1938, this system was abandoned in favor of fixed, manually adjustable tappets. Also unusual is the Phantom II's dual ignition system, consisting of 2 distributors, 2 ignition coils and 24 spark plugs. Fuel is delivered to the carburetors by 2 electric SU pumps. The engine develops 134 kilowatts of power. With the revised engine, the Phantom III reached a top speed of 161 km per hour. As standard, the Phantom III had wire wheels, but many cars were fitted with ACE disc wheels. The cars were equipped with central lubrication, operated by a lever in the driver's cabin. New was the independent front suspension on double wishbones with coil springs. The rear axle with its semi-elliptic longitudinal leaf springs was carried over from its predecessor. The 4-speed transmission was synchronized in gears 2, 3 and 4. From 1938, there was an overdrive. The mechanical brake boosters for the cable brakes on all 4 wheels were manufactured under licenses from the Société Française Hispano-Suiza. The radiator frame was stay-bright steel. The sheer weight of the cars can be seen in their performance figures. One example tested in 1938 by the English magazine Autocar reached a top speed of 140 km per hour and accelerated from 0 to 100 km per hour in 16.8 seconds. The fuel consumption measured in this test was 28 liters per 100 kilometers. Only the chassis and mechanics were manufactured by Rolls-Royce. The bodies were built by a wheelwright at the customer's request. Some of the best-known coach builders for Rolls-Royce cars were Park Ward, Thrupp and Maberly, Mulliner and Hooper. On the European continent, Vesters and Nyrink in Brussels, among others, produced high-quality bodies for the Phantom III. The Rolls-Royce Phantom III also gained notoriety for its appearance in the James Bond film Goldfinger as the vehicle of Auric Goldfinger and his bodyguard Oddjob. 2 similar vehicles were used for the film. The better-known one with chassis number 3BU168 carries a Sedanka de Ville body by Barker. The Rolls-Royce Phantom IV was the most exclusive passenger car ever produced by Rolls-Royce. Only 18 examples were built in the years 1950 to 1956 exclusively for crowned heads and presidents. 16 of them still exist today. Rolls-Royce actually did not want to revive the series of the Big Phantom after the Second World War, but then decided to still produce some vehicles in individual production for special customers. The chassis was developed from that of the actual Phantom successor Silver Wraith, whereby one extended and strengthened it substantially. The wheelbase grew to 3.68 meters, the vehicle length to 5.82 meters. The Phantom IV was the only Rolls-Royce passenger car to be equipped with an inline 8-cylinder engine. The inline 8-cylinder engine was particularly suitable for representation cars, as it could move the car long distances at low speed. On the other hand, it was so powerful that the acceleration of the car could easily keep up with that of contemporary sports cars. It had a displacement of 5,675 cc and developed a power of 164 bhp, 121 kilowatts. It was connected to a manual 4-speed transmission, and from 1954 to a 4-speed automatic. The top speed was 163 km per hour. All examples of this particular model were coach-built by independent wheelwrights. In 1949, Rolls-Royce received an order from Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip for a large limousine. Until then, the royal family preferred cars from Daimler. A successor to the larger Phantom III had been put on hold due to the poor economic climate after the World War, but was activated by the order. Production of the new car did not start at the company's headquarters in Crewe, but at the experimental Clan Foundry in Belper, where passenger car production had settled after the World War. Under the project name, Naba, the car was delivered in 1950. Initially painted in Valentine green, it later received a burgundy black livery. The first Phantom IV, which became the official state car of the United Kingdom when Princess Elizabeth was crowned Queen in 1952, is still in the royal garages today and is occasionally used to take members of the royal family and their friends to the royal horse races at Ascot. This was the first of 2 Phantom IVs ordered by Elizabeth II. In 1954, another of these landaulet-bodied cars was delivered to the royal fleet. Other customers included Elizabeth II's sister, Princess Margaret, Countess of Snowdon, and the former Spanish dictator General Franco, whose 3 Phantom IVs, 2 limousines and 1 convertible, made especially for him, were in the service of King Juan Carlos as state cars. The Rolls-Royce Phantom 5 is a luxury-class passenger car built by Rolls-Royce in the 1960s. The engine was a V8 with 90° cylinder angle, a displacement of 6,230 cc and 2 SU carburetors, to which a 4-speed automatic transmission was flanged. The car had drum brakes all around and a wheelbase of 3,683 mm. The Phantom 5 was produced in 516 units from 1959 to 1968 and was based on the Silver Cloud II, from which it also took the engine and automatic transmission, a Hydromatic from General Motors. From 1963, the 7% more powerful engine of the Silver Cloud III was fitted in the later models, also received new front fenders with recessed twin headlights. The cars reached a top speed of 163 km per hour. John Lennon's Phantom 5 was delivered from the factory in white exterior paint, but he had it painted by an artist with a special psychedelic paint job. This car is one of the most valuable memorabilia of pop music. Other famous keepers of the car were, or are, Queen Elizabeth II, one of whose copies can be seen in a special garage aboard the Britannia in Leith, Scotland, and her mother, Queen Mum. Elizabeth II's cars were official state cars of the United Kingdom and were equipped with a standard and an illuminated escutcheon above the windshield. King Olav V of Norway also owned a 1962 Phantom 5. The Governor of Hong Kong used a Phantom 5 for ceremonies. The British Royal Navy returned the car to England immediately after Hong Kong was handed over to China on July 1, 1997. Numerous Phantom 5 chassis were fitted with custom bodies from independent coach builders. A number of very different bodies came from James Young. The Rolls-Royce Phantom 6 was a luxury chauffeur-driven sedan offered by the British automaker Rolls-Royce from 1968 to 1991. The car followed the Phantom 5 and had the engine of the Silver Shadow. Most of the bodywork was produced by Mulliner Parkward. The Phantom V followed in 1968 as an evolution of the Phantom 5 that had been offered since 1959. The car had a modified front end and the engine of the contemporary Silver Shadow. This engine was a revised version of the V8 engine from the Silver Cloud III. In 1979, the displacement was increased to 6,750 cc and a 3-speed automatic was introduced instead of the 4-speed automatic supplied up to that time. The last Rolls-Royce with a separate frame was offered until 1991. The chassis had coil springs front and rear and drum brakes on all 4 wheels. The bodies were generally built by Mulliner Parkward, mostly Pullman saloons but also some landaulets. The Phantom 6 has a V8 engine with 90° cylinder angle and a displacement of 6,231 cc. Bore times stroke equals 104.14 mm times 91.44 mm. In 1982, the displacement was increased to 6,750 cc when the engine of the Silver Spirit was taken over. 2 SU carburetors were fitted. Originally the car had a 4-speed automatic, but in 1979 a 3-speed automatic with torque converter was introduced. The automobile fleet of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II includes two Phantom 6 models, the special Silver Jubilee car given to her by the British motor industry in 1977 to celebrate 25 years on the throne, and a standard 1986 model. The Silver Jubilee car, with its raised roof and larger windows, was the #1 state car until the introduction of the two Bentley state limousines in 2002. Like the other British state cars, the Phantom 6s do not have a registration plate and are prepared to display the royal standard and coat of arms. When the Queen herself uses the car, Spirit of Ecstasy is replaced by a special figure of St. George with the dragon made of solid silver. In the 1970s there were thoughts of a successor Phantom 7 based on the body of the Silver Shadow, but these plans were dropped. This vehicle was never realized. There were no prototypes of it. It was not until 1998 that a redesign began under the aegis of BMW, and since 2003 it has been produced under the name Rolls-Royce Phantom. Technically, however, the 2003 model has nothing in common with the namesake Rolls-Royce Phantom V. Since the 2003 model is already the seventh vehicle model with the name Rolls-Royce Phantom, it is nevertheless often referred to as Phantom 7. Until 1991, 374 examples were built. The London coach builder Mulliner Park Ward was closed in 1991. A large number of body panels were still produced before the business ceased. As a result, Rolls-Royce has many spare parts for the Phantom 6. Between 1995 and 1997, three visually similar cars called Cloudesque were produced for the Sultan of Brunei. The Rolls-Royce Phantom 7, originally referred to by the manufacturer only as Phantom, is a passenger car model of the automobile manufacturer Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. It was produced as a sedan with normal wheelbase and as a sedan with extended wheelbase, Phantom Extended Wheelbase. Based on the saloon, the Phantom Drophead Coupe, convertible, and Phantom Coupe models were also offered. Since July 28, 1998, the German car manufacturer BMW has held the trademark rights to Rolls-Royce. After initial difficulties, the vehicle with the project name RR01 was created in Goodwood in the south of England. On January 3, 2003, the startup phase ended and after 4 years of development, the result was presented. The vehicle stands with its name in the tradition of the company Rolls-Royce. It is already the seventh vehicle model with the name Rolls-Royce Phantom. Technically, however, it has nothing in common with the namesake Rolls-Royce Phantom 6, which was built until 1991. In 2011, there was a subtle facelift. In the new models, the round xenon headlights had to give way to more modern LED units. These were joined by dynamic cornering lights and a revised navigation system. In addition, the 6-speed automatic was replaced by an 8-speed automatic, which reduced CO2 emissions from 385 to 347 grams per kilometer. Various assemblies were also built at German sites, although all assembly and customization was carried out at Goodwood. Production of the Phantom 7 ended at the end of January 2017, and its successor, the Phantom 8, was unveiled on July 27, 2017. It made its public debut at the IAA in Frankfurt am Main in September 2017 and went on sale in 2018. The convertible and the coupe did not receive a successor. The Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead Coupe is a convertible series from the British automaker Rolls-Royce and the second newly developed model under the direction of BMW. The vehicle was first unveiled at the North American International Auto Show in January 2007. Production started in summer 2007, and Rolls-Royce planned to produce 200 units per year. The car received the Red Dot Award, Product Design 2008. Rolls-Royce ceased production of the Phantom family at the end of 2016. A successor for the sedan went on sale in early 2018, while the convertible and coupe did not receive successors. The basis of the design concept is Study 100X. This borrows from the basic lines of the 2003 Rolls-Royce Phantom 7. The study was the first Rolls-Royce experimental car in 46 years and was presented at the 2004 Geneva Motor Show to mark the company's 100th anniversary. The chief designer responsible was Ian Cameron. The styling elements shown in the study, such as the hood and windshield frame in brushed metal and the teak cover over the hood compartment, it consists of 30 individual parts, were carried over into series production. The rear-hinged self-propelled doors, already familiar from the Rolls-Royce Phantom saloon and designed to facilitate entry, have also been retained. The lines are the same as those familiar from Rolls-Royce. The car has a long hood, large wheels, and a short overhang at the front and a long one at the rear. The lines drop slightly on the side flanks. The trunk lid is divided into two parts. The rear section folds down and should be able to serve as a picnic seat. The Drophead Coupe offers seating for four. Like the sedan, there are compartments in the doors for umbrellas, which are dried by a fan. Prices start at €440,000. The soft top consists of 5 layers, the lowest of which is cashmere. In the first year of production, 253 Drophead coupes were delivered worldwide, representing 25% of the brand's total volume. In 2008, 431 Dropheads and 137 coupes were produced. The series accounted for 46.7% of the brand's total production. In 2012, the entire Phantom series was revised. This revision, referred to as Series 2, can be seen primarily in the front headlights. The Rolls-Royce Phantom Coupe is a largely hand-built luxury car from the British automaker Rolls-Royce. The coupe was launched in 2008 and is based on the Phantom. Production was discontinued in 2016. The vehicle was unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show on March 6, 2008 after the Phantom Drophead Coupe was presented to the public back in 2007. Production uses the sedan platform, and the design is heavily based on the Rolls-Royce 100X concept car. The doors are hinged at the rear, as is typical of Rolls-Royce's contemporary models. The V engine with 338 kilowatts, 460 horsepower, maximum output has 12 cylinders, 6.75 liters of displacement and delivers a maximum of 720 Nm of torque. The automobile accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 5.8 seconds and reaches a top speed of 250 km per hour. The Phantom Coupe consumes 20.5 L, 100 km in urban areas and 9.6 L, 100 km in extra-urban areas, which corresponds to an average CO2 emission of 377 grams per kilometer. Rolls-Royce offers highly individual solutions in terms of exterior color and interior trim, with the headlining displaying replica stars on request when driving at night. The vehicle received extremely positive reviews on the BBC's British automotive programme Top Gear. The Phantom Coupe costs around €440,000. Rolls-Royce ceased production of the Phantom family at the end of 2016. A successor for the sedan went on sale at the beginning of 2018. The convertible and coupe will not receive successors. The Rolls-Royce Phantom 8, RR11 series, RR12 series equals long wheelbase version, is a passenger car model of the British car manufacturer Rolls-Royce Motor Cars. It was unveiled on July 27, 2017 in London's Mayfair district as the successor to the 7th-generation Phantom. The new Phantom has been built in Goodwood since the beginning of 2018. In contrast to the previous model, the vehicle is now only offered as a sedan with a normal wheelbase and with an extended wheelbase, Phantom Extended Wheelbase. Both variants were made slightly shorter, the long wheelbase version also slightly lighter. The length dimension is presumably due to the fact that in China drivers of a vehicle over 6 meters long need a bus driver's license. At 5.98 meters, the new long wheelbase version is now just under that. The Phantom Drophead Coupe and Phantom Coupe, which are based on the Phantom 7, will not receive a successor. Instead, the Cullinan SUV, announced in 2015 and available from 2018, is based on the aluminum spaceframe, ASF, architecture of the new Phantom, which also allows for a flowing, coupe-like design of the rear end shape. Prices start at €375,000 for the short wheelbase, SWB, version and €450,000 for the extended wheelbase, EWB, version. After limited edition models were unveiled in the first half of 2019 and 2021, a revised version of the series was unveiled in May 2022. The changes relate to the interior and exterior appearance. Thicker steering wheel rim on the inside, high-quality Italian-made fabric cover for the rear seat on request, a wide range of design options for the rims on the outside, illumination of the radiator grille. The current Rolls-Royce vehicles are based on a proprietary platform. 6. The rigidity of the body with aluminum spaceframe architecture is 30% greater than on the predecessor model. At linkage points between chassis and component, the value is even higher, for example it is around 100% for the transmission. The vehicle has laser headlights. 4. The Phantom 8 is the first Rolls-Royce to incorporate all-wheel steering. Up to speeds below 60 km per hour, the steering angle of the rear wheels is opposite to the front wheels to improve maneuverability. Above 60 km per hour, the rear wheels turn in the same direction as the front wheels to improve vehicle stability. The car has adaptive air suspension and specially developed Continental 22-inch tires with noise-reducing foam inserts. Laminated glass consisting of two 2.7 mm thick glass panes is also used for low interior noise. A total of 130 kg of insulating material is used. Compared with the predecessor model, the sedan is said to be around 10% quieter in the interior at a speed of 100 km per hour, 62 miles per hour. The new Phantom is powered by the 6.75-liter 12-cylinder gasoline engine familiar from the previous model. In the 8th Phantom generation, the engine is turbocharged by 2 turbochargers, increasing output from 338 kilowatts, 460 horsepower, to 420 kilowatts, 571 horsepower. The manufacturer specifies the top speed at 250 km per hour. The ZF 8-speed automatic transmission is linked to a GPS receiver that determines the vehicle's location and measures speed to select an appropriate gear in time, taking into account the direction of travel. The navigation system is from BMW and is operated by iDrive, which can be retracted into the center console by a folding mechanism. There is also a head-up display. Tranquillity Collection. At the 89th Geneva Motor Show in March 2019, the Phantom was presented in the Tranquillity Collection, limited to 25 examples. The special edition model's interior features highly reflective stainless steel, 24-karat gold, and a controller finished with material from the Muonanalusta meteorite found in Kiruna in 1906. Rock from this meteorite is also used in the one-off BMW M850i X-Drive Coupe Night Sky. Boat tail. Based on the Phantom, Rolls-Royce presented the boat tail convertible, limited to 3 individually designed examples, in May 2021. The third rose gold vehicle, whose color changes according to the prevailing light conditions, was unveiled in May 2022 on the occasion of the Concorso d'Eleganza Villa d'Este. The development of the vehicle, designed in the style of a sailboat, the long, longitudinally divided tailgate is covered with lacquered wood veneer, for example, began in 2017 after the unveiling of the one-off Rolls-Royce Sweptail. The length of the boat tail is close to 5.80 meters. It has a wraparound windshield. The soft top is removed by hand, and there is another top in the trunk for sudden weather changes. When the tailgate opens like butterfly wings, it reveals a parasol, 2 cocktail tables with 2 folding stools, a double, champagne, refrigerator and plates with platinum rims complete with silver cutlery. With a purchase price of about €23 million, officially kept secret, it was considered the most expensive new car ever built in 2021, and $28 million is mentioned for the last vehicle in 2022.